In a wondrous garden bathed in gentle light, where time flowed like shimmering streams, unhurried and ceaseless, there existed a sacred space beyond mortal imagination. This was not a garden of ordinary earth and water, but a living entity of pure energy, where every leaf and every flower vibrated with a frequency of knowledge and boundless love. The light here was not the harsh glare of the sun, but a soft, metallic glow, filtering through every crevice, creating shimmering, ethereal hues. The sounds were not the chirping of birds or the rustling of wind, but a silent symphony of existence, whispers from the cosmos, perceivable only by the purest of souls. Young Jesus, his spirit as clear as a dewdrop on a lotus leaf, often wandered through this garden. He sought nothing specific, simply immersing himself in the presence of infinite beauty and wisdom. Among the myriad of wondrous flora, one particular plant always captivated his gaze and mind, a colossal Monstera Deliciosa. Powerfully reaching skyward, with large, deep green leaves adorned by deep cuts and natural perforations, creating an intricate and mesmerizing lace-like pattern. He often sat beneath the Monstera's canopy, where golden rays of light pierced through the holes, forming dancing specks of light on the ground, like the ethereal movements of spirits. He observed the plant with absolute concentration, not just with his eyes but with his entire heart and soul. Each new leaf, curled like a mysterious whisper, carried a promise of life. He witnessed the process of the leaf slowly unfurling, little by little, revealing its unique contours. The plant's patience in this process led him to reflect on the necessity of time in all growth. That no blossoming is instantaneous, but rather undergoes a period of nurturing and waiting, a thorough preparation before revealing its full beauty. He was particularly drawn to the holes and cuts on the leaves. Initially, they seemed like imperfections, wounds, on the leaf's surface. But the more he observed, the more he realized that these very imperfections created the plant's unique beauty and hidden strength. One day, a gentle breeze swept through the garden, stirring the Monstera leaves. He noticed that the perforated leaves seemed less affected than the intact leaves of other plants. The wind flowed through the open spaces, encountering no strong resistance, but softly gliding, causing the leaf to merely sway gently. From this, he gained a profound insight. Gentleness and adaptability are sometimes the greatest strengths. Accepting holes, or imperfections, can help one overcome challenges. Just as the wind could not tear down the Monstera leaf, he understood that absolute resistance only leads to breakage, while flexibility and the ability to let things pass through bring resilience. The Monstera's aerial roots, dangling like silken threads, sought anchors, clinging to ancient tree trunks or moss-covered rocks. He saw them not just as a means for the plant to absorb water and nutrients, but as a symbol of connection, of seeking support and nourishment from its surroundings. The Monstera did not stand alone. It ascended with the help of what it clung to, yet simultaneously developed on its own, seeking its own light. This taught him about the interdependence of all things, the importance of community and support, but also not to forget one's inner strength. During quiet moments beneath the Monstera's canopy, he often conversed with the beings of light, the ancient spirits of the garden. One of them, a being known as the Gardener of Wisdom, with eyes sparkling like distant stars, frequently came to him. "What have you learned from your Monstera friend, young spirit?" the gardener asked, their voice like the chime of wind bells. Jesus replied, "I have learned that beauty does not necessarily mean flawless perfection. I have learned that what we perceive as imperfections can actually be the source of strength and uniqueness. And I have learned about connection, about finding support without losing oneself." The gardener smiled, their light radiating warmth. "Very true. In the world you are about to enter, people will look at each other's holes and judge. They will seek external perfection while overlooking inner beauty. But remember this leaf, my child. It is precisely the empty spaces that create difference and help it survive. True love is the ability to see beauty and value even in imperfections. To accept and embrace a person's entire being, with all their cuts and holes." He was also taught that the Monstera, despite its robust appearance, still needed a suitable environment to thrive. It needed light, water, and fresh air. This reminded him of the importance of creating a nurturing environment. not only for oneself but also for those around. An environment of love, understanding, and compassion would help every soul develop to its fullest potential. These teachings deeply permeated Jesus' heart. He began to see the world around him with different eyes, no longer seeking perfection but cherishing authenticity, even if it appeared incomplete. He learned to listen to the weakest voices, to see potential in those rejected by society, just as the Monstera still grew strongly despite its imperfect leaves. He practiced patience, understanding, and adaptability in all his interactions within the garden. He helped weak young sprouts to grow, listened to the laments of wilting flowers, and shared his light with the smallest creatures. Once, a tiny, fragile seed, carried by the wind, landed in a barren rock crevice in the garden. It could not sprout. Its fate seemed to be to wither forever. Jesus spent many days beside that seed, not using miracles to force it to sprout, but simply by sending his energy of love and patience. He spoke to it, gently caressed the rock crevice, and envisioned life stirring within. Finally, a tiny green shoot emerged, fragile but full of determination. He understood that, just as the Monstera needed time for its leaves to unfurl, all life needed patience and love to reveal its potential. Time in the garden continued to flow, building wisdom and compassion in Jesus' heart. He understood that his journey would not be strewn with roses. There would be cuts, holes in his life, challenges that seemed capable of crushing him. He realized that human life is also like the Monstera leaf, born whole. But through time and experience, holes of pain, cuts of loss, and tears of betrayal will appear. But it is precisely these things, if embraced and overcome, that will create a unique beauty, an enduring strength, and a depth of soul that perfection cannot achieve. He also pondered the Deliciosa in the plant's name, meaning delicious or delightful. He realized that the Monstera's fruit, when ripe, bore a sweet and complex flavor. This symbolized that, after challenging processes of growth, after accepting imperfections and overcoming difficulties, life would yield sweet fruits of understanding, love, and inner peace. When the time came for him to leave the peaceful garden and step into the tumultuous world, he carried with him not only the teachings of the light beings but also the image of the Monstera Deliciosa. That uniquely patterned leaf became a profound symbol in his mind, reminding him of unconditional love, the acceptance of imperfection, and the power of difference. It was the whisper of the garden, the first lesson in appreciating the imperfect, an invaluable companion for the arduous journey ahead. Whenever he taught about compassion, about loving the outcast, he remembered the Monstera leaf, how its holes did not weaken it but made it unique. When he spoke of forgiveness, of letting go of burdens, he remembered how the wind passed through the holes without harming the leaf. When he spoke of unity and mutual support, he remembered the Monstera's aerial roots seeking anchors. And when he faced the greatest challenges, the deepest cuts in his life, he found strength in the image of that resilient leaf, knowing that even in brokenness, there was beauty and a higher purpose. The Garden of Light and the Monstera Deliciosa had etched an eternal truth into his soul. Perfection lies not in the absence of flaws, but in accepting and transforming those flaws into strength, into one's own unique beauty. It was a lesson in wholeness within incompleteness, a philosophy he would carry and share with all humanity, throughout all ages.